What's up, y'all? My name is Devontae, and I sacrificed my time so you don't have to. Bro, tell me why I just got a notification. That's how I just woke up just now. I mean, granted, I have to get ready to go to work anyways in about 2 more hours. But I mean, right now, I got a notification that woke me up from my Gmail account that told me that my video got reinstated and I got no more copyright strikes. Well, I mean, I still got one more day before my warning copyright strike goes away. But tell me why they gave me a copyright strike last night, bro, when I was getting ready to go to bed and they gave me a copyright strike on the Cora J video. I was like, nope, I left that context up there for y'all for a damn reason. The fucking Cora J telling y'all it's a swimsuit. Nope. They reinstated my shit just a little bit ago, and I got the opportunity because I wanted to record this last night, but because of everything that happened, I couldn't. But I'm here now, bro. I'm here now. They try to get me with the okie doke, suck a dick, though. YouTube, suck a dick. No, real talk though. Let's get back to the topic. I just had to talk about that for a minute. But check it out though. I'm gonna try to be as unbiased as I possibly can. Because, I don't want to just keep shitting on AEW for the sake of shitting on AEW. If there's a reason to clarify a situation, I'm gonna state it. So I'm gonna leave the link down in the description box below. Shout out to Darren Walker for letting me know what the hell's going on. I know what the topic is about, but I'm gonna read the article anyways and let it marinate inside some of y'all minds, if you will. Eric Bischoff says AEW is overexposing the star. Toni Storm retained her AEW Women's Championship against Stardom's Mina Shirakawa at Forbidden Door this past Sunday after she defeated the current Artist of Stardom champion in just over 10 minutes. However, despite the close near falls and... Damn, I need to put my glasses on. Where's my glasses at? However, despite the close near falls and Storm impressing with the presentation of her character, former WCW writer Eric Bischoff thought the match was a complete disaster. On his podcast, 83 Weeks, he explained that he left to cook himself dinner after watching 90 seconds of the contest, but did give Storm credit for her character work. He also stated that AEW is, and I quote, overexposing her at the moment. And I quote further, I got about a minute and a half in and said, screw it. I'm going to go cook a steak. I already had the grill heated, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But as soon as the match started, I watched it for a few minutes. It was so bad. And this is the stuff when Toni says, oh, we have the best women's division. Oh my God. And then we see that, said Bischoff. She should not have been in the match. She's not ready. She's not ready for prime time. Mind you, he's referring to Toni Storm. Her character is freaking awesome. They're overexposing her and they're overhyping her and are trying to convince people she's something she's not. And ultimately, that's going to come back on her. Bischoff explained that he couldn't subject himself to watching the match between Storm and Shirakawa due to the length of the pay-per-view, while also mentioning how satisfied he was that he chose to eat his steak instead, which is a burst ass comment. That's a burst ass comment. Ate the steak before I watched this bullshit, merely shit from Eric Bischoff. But here, let me read some of the comments real quick because I gotta assume there are a lot of people who are gonna not like what he just said about Toni Storm. Let me see. One guy says, I've agreed with a few points that he's made here and there, but now he just sounds like he's bitching for the sake of bitching. Another guy says, because you have one person who was kind of defending Eric, essentially saying, I can see his perspective, I can see where he's coming from, talking about how, she is kind of overexposed. And one guy goes, man, get your fool here, you pawn. I know you don't pay attention to matches. You just agree with all these podcasters instead of agreeing with me. He didn't say that, but essentially that's what he said. This guy says, bitch off's idea, ooh, so clever, of a good match, he spelled match M-A-S-H, who would involve Hulk Hogan and Kevin Nash slapping each other like schoolgirls. By the way, this is Wrestling Inc. I'm reading the comment section. This is fucking hilarious. But he says, you lose credibility when you say something like that. South Park had an episode about doubling down. It's when you come out so strongly on the position that when a new information comes out disproving your position, you choose to ignore it and double down on your position if you don't don't want to feel foolish. Buddy, it's his fucking opinion. What the fuck do you mean? What information came out disproving what position? You can't disprove his opinion, oh my god. The internet, it's so cringe. It's cringe. It's as cringe as me saying cringe. Seriously, what the fuck is this? Guy says, Eric, jerk off. You need to go away already. You can tell these are all AEW fanboys. Look at this shit. He is really trying to get over that I want to cook a steak line. We know he doesn't cook. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. And these motherfuckers are mad right now. Holy fuck, I came here for the neckbeard meltdown because Eric has an opinion about their favorite wrestlers they don't like. I wasn't disappointed. No, you weren't, and I wasn't either. Oh, hold on. I want to read a couple more before I actually get my opinion, because this is actually kind of fun. I should do this more often. I should read some of the people's comments after seeing what the video topic is about, because I know they're going to get fucking triggered. Let's see. Good or bad, dude beat WWE more than everyone in here or their savior Toni has done. Your opinion is meaningless at the moment. I disagree with that. You can have your opinion on the subject regardless of what happens between the two opponents earlier on. Let's see. Anything else? So you admit you only watched 90 seconds of a 15-minute match and think you're somehow qualified to comment on the quality of the whole thing? He's getting beyond ridiculous at this point. Well, no, you can look at 90 seconds of a match and say to yourself, I'm done. I don't want to watch any more of this because you don't like the presentation. You know, like, it'd be like if you watch my video shitting on AEW, do you have to sit there and watch me shit on AEW for 20 minutes? I don't think so. I mean, I would like you to, because I want to torture you, but like you don't have to sit here and listen to me say anything about AEW. You know what I mean? Like you could to get better context. Maybe I'm going to say something a little bit more, more charitable, but at the same time, you kind of got the gist of what I'm going to talk about throughout the video after the first 90 seconds. I don't blame Eric Bischoff for that. Let's see. Any more? Let me see. Although, just one or two more. Hang on. There's got to be more. Guy who spends every single day podcasting an opinion. He spelled opinion wrong. He even used it wrong. Guy who spends every single day podcasting and opining. Excuse me. I'm a fucking retard. On wrestling. Non-stop thinks a company is overexposing something. Man, I'm getting all the overexposure from him. Man, you gotta love these comments. You can't have an opinion about professional wrestling if it's gonna be negative. If it's a negative opinion and you're going to have it, then you are not qualified to have it, because all you do is sit down and watch wrestling, so you're going to be more, I don't know, inclined to not like it. What does that mean, bro? Holy shit, I swear, they're trying to find any reason to discredit Eric. I mean, you can always just focus on what he's saying and just take apart what he's saying and, go on with your, life. Or, I mean, just come with that hominem. It's just not really going to take away from his point is what I'm trying to say. Is there anything else? Oh, this is just from Wrestling Inc. I'm pretty sure there's more on Twitter. Fuck it. I don't feel like going on Twitter, though. Nah, let's just stop right there. I'm pretty sure more people are going to go after him. This article only came out a couple hours ago, so more people probably go after him after a while. All right, so to give my opinion on what Eric Bischoff is talking about, this is just another nothing burger. I'm pretty sure people are going to get over this probably by the end of today. I mean, that's how wrestling news usually goes, right? If someone happens to be super over at the time, or at least over with that fan base, and people of that fan base, they like what the hell they're seeing, then all of a sudden it's the worst pitchforks and torches and tikis and everybody get them all together. Let's go. We got to go take that guy down. Why? Oh, did you not hear? His opinion is different than ours. He has to die, of course. Right? That's the gist of what I'm getting right here. Now, to Eric Bischoff's point in regards to Toni Storm's match with Miri Shirakawa, I didn't think it was that bad, if I remember correctly. I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, I mean, I guess it was bad enough where I really can't tell you, or I have any memory of the match, outside of what I've seen on Forbidden Door. I think I liked the match, but if I'm having to sit back and have to think about how I felt about the match at the time, I guess that kind of tells you how I feel about the match in regards to Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, clarity. All right, I'm good. Had to cachet myself there for a second. Got tongue twisted. I'm pretty sure at the time, I didn't really give a shit. It was just a match, another match that happened, and maybe I liked it in regards of it happening in real time, but overall, no, it doesn't have any bearing on how I look at professional wrestling overall, so maybe it wasn't that big of a deal. But as far as the character work aspect goes, I'm pretty sure that's what everybody is focused on at the moment. I mean, you got some people who are literally just bitching for the sake of bitching, but they're, hypocritically going after Eric for bitching for the sake of bitching. But that's always just going to come to subjectivity, right? That's all going to come in subjectivity. When it comes to Toni Storm, it's not as if Eric Bischoff's the first person I ever heard talk about Toni Storm in this manner. Not to mention, it's not as if he's actually dissing her. You're taking two things and you're aligning two perspectives to pretend as if that one perspective, is legitimate. Like for an example, they're saying, oh, Eric Bischoff, because they're talking as if he hates the character. Oh, Eric Bischoff, he doesn't know anything. Or some of them, they're doing two things at once. One, they're saying that Eric Bischoff, he doesn't like the match because of the character, and then they'll misconstrue that, and then they'll kind of pretend as if, he likes this kind of wrestling. When in reality, if you look at Eric Bischoff's, two things. One, Eric Bischoff is part of the reason why, guys like AEW even have the high flying stuff. Eric was the one that established the cruiserweight division. What the fuck are you talking about? He doesn't like good wrestling. He doesn't like this. One can argue, ironically enough, and it's funny whenever I see Eric talk about the matches in a manner of him disagreeing or not liking the high flying stuff, because Eric is literally solely responsible for bringing the AEW stuff, the Will Ospreays of the world that you're looking at, right? The Swerve Stricklands that you're looking at the moment, even Samoa Joes of the world, all those guys, the way they wrestle, who do you think made that prominent on the United States stage? Who do you think did that? Who do you think brought cruiserweight wrestling? Who do you think brought that AEW? AEW's entire identity is based upon the cruiserweight style of professional wrestling. Who do you think brought that to the forefront? That'd be Eric. The guy who you say, he doesn't care about wrestling. He just wants to see Kevin Nash and Hulk Hogan slap each other in the face and yada, yada, yada. You dumb motherfuckers, if it wasn't for him, you wouldn't even be watching AEW right now. The reason why you watch AEW, the reason why you're even into it. See, I'm not going to make the same mistake twice, because I did make a comment when I said, I think it was Dynamite, I believe, either Dynamite or NXT, where I made a comment and I said, most people who got into professional wrestling, they got in, through WWE, and don't sit here and not lying. Okay, let me rephrase myself. If you're younger than the age of 30, let's be more concise about this, right? If you're younger than the age of 30, you got into professional wrestling via the WWE. Can I say it like that? Whether you're in the UK or the United States, I won't say over 30 because I forgot. Yes, that's right. Other wrestling existed outside of WWE in the United States. If you're around 40, 50, 60 years old, I forgot about that. But you get my gist. You get my motherfucking point, right? But with those guys, like I said, the people over 30, the ones around that 30 to 35 range, who most likely, I would even say less than 40, but I'll be kind and I'll say 30. By that point, it would have been like 1992, 1993, 1994. There's no way you didn't get into wrestling outside of WWE. But I would like to also add in their WCW, obviously, right? So to hear this argument about Eric Bischoff not caring about wrestling is so fucking stupid, and it's so ludicrous, and it's just you projecting, and it's you sitting there and you having to cope with the fact that someone has a different opinion than you. I know that sucks sometimes, but that happens to be the real world. What do you want to do? I got a couple of suggestions that ends up with you skibbiting yourself in Minecraft that I think you should be able to take. I can give you different references as far as what you can do to skibbity yourself, so therefore you don't have to listen to everybody else's opinion, but I think you should probably look at what the guy is saying, accept what he's saying as not being the same thing as what you're saying. Get on with your life. Go back to using your right hand for, Shirakawa or some shit like that. Use your left hand for, Chi-Chi or maybe Boma. I don't know, whatever gets your fucking, your gears turned or something. Or maybe you can go outside and touch grass, breathe fresh air, meet a real girl who happens to be Asian. Maybe you can actually get yourself dressed up from head to toe, get your hair all knotted out and ungreased, maybe lose about 300 pounds, not smell like an onion, actually manicure your balls. And, maybe you wouldn't be here discussing another man's opinion about how they feel about your senpai or something. Get the fuck out of here, bro. But I will say one more thing in regards to Eric Bischoff's opinion. Now, I've been taking up for Eric Bischoff for a minute now. I think he is absolutely entitled to his opinion. He can say whatever the man wants to say about his opinion because that's his opinion. You can't go out there because of his opinion and you ain't proving anything right because of his opinion. No. Now, Eric, in regards to Toni Storm, my personal opinion when reflecting off of it, I fuck with Toni Storm's character. I like Toni Storm's character. Do I think that Eric Bischoff is being a little bit like, yeah, I guess a little tiny bit. I think from the overexposure standpoint, I don't say Eric Bischoff is wrong. Toni Storm is everywhere. You're having her wrestle random fucking losers on Rampage and shit like that. Yeah, she should feel a little bit more special. Yes, you should be using that time on Rampage, on Collision, to maybe show us some vignettes or, do some stuff like funny skits in regard. Because that's the kind of character that Toni Storm is playing at the moment, right? What gets Toni Storm over is her antics, right? You want to build up the vignettes. You want to do things outside of the wrestling. The wrestling in itself should be special when done on Dynamite and once in the blue moon on Collision and never on Rampage. She is too good for Rampage. That should be her building up her character. I know people are going to be like, well, Devontae, aren't you outright without even recognizing Barry and Rampage when you do something like that? Not necessarily. You can play that to a certain T, You can always look at the wrestlers that she's going to wrestle on Rampage and then tell them that I don't do this for this price on this show. Something along the lines of that. Or more importantly, I don't want to wrestle this wrestler and that wrestler happens to be on Rampage all the time. That's how you can work it out. That's how you can do it without having to outright bury Rampage. Which, and to be perfectly honest with you, you could bury Rampage also. Who gives a shit? I mean, I'll just be saying the quiet part out loud anyways, right? But there's ways of how you can work the character without going out of your way to bury the character while accentuating who the character is without having them go out there and overexpose themselves like Eric Bischoff is saying. Now, do I think he's being a bit hyperbolic as far as his opinions in regards to the character in itself? In regards to, but not even that, because did he even say anything bad about the character? Let me go back. See, this is what I'm gonna do, AEW fans. I know it sucks when I do things like this. I know you don't like it when we do things. We actually go back and we try to fact check ourselves. I know you guys hate that. You guys like to just take the hyperbolic position, the exaggerated position, and just marinate within that. But hang on for a second. He explained that to set the cook, okay, blah, 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 but as soon as he came back, blah, 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 she should have not been ready, okay, blah, blah. Oh, we have the best women's division, blah, 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 she should not have been in the match, she's not ready for prime time, her character is freaking awesome. Oh, okay, cool. I don't know what he means by she's not ready, but see, that's what I mean, though. That's about the only thing, I guess there's a bit of cognitive dissonance. I guess that's the best way you could put it, because I will say that is kind of weird. I don't know where he's getting at, and maybe someone can clarify in the comment section. Maybe they didn't add in proper context when writing this article. Eric Bischoff did say that is kind of weird. I will say that. He said she should not have been in that match. She's not ready. She's not ready for prime time. Her character is freaking awesome. I mean, so okay, if you're not saying she's not ready for prime time because of her character, and you're saying that she's being overexposed, so I'm gonna assume you like the character. You just don't like the way it's being presented. So when you say she's not ready for prime time and she had a 90-second match, I mean, if he's alluding to the fact that Toni Storm is a bad wrestler, that's the only takeaway I get for that. I'll read it again. She should not have been in the match. She's not ready. She's not ready for prime time. Her character is freaking awesome. Okay, so we're going to eliminate the character aspect because you're telling me that you like the character. So my only thing and my only conclusion, especially given the context when you say you don't, you watch 90 seconds of the match and, you say you give her credit for her character work. My only thing is I can only assume that you're not a big fan of her work. Now, there are two ways that I can take away from the character aspect. See what I'm doing? I'm breaking down each thing without just having to fly off the handle about one specific thing and pretend as if one specific thing notates his entire narrative, because that's fucking stupid. Yes, I spit salt on my spit right now. It's fucking stupid. Nah, but if he is saying that her character work is, nice and he doesn't want overexposing, then you have to focus on the aspect of what he actually probably means, which is her work. Now, if he means that she's, not a good worker, that's obviously retarded. I love Eric, but that's a dumb fucking opinion. Clearly she's a good worker. I don't know where he's coming from, if that's his perspective on the situation, Toni Storm is an excellent worker. She's one of the better women wrestlers in AEW, if not in the entire company. I think Toni Storm is a hell of a worker. She's very, very good. Or does he mean that he doesn't care for her work in the ring? Because, maybe there could be a situation where Eric Bischoff kind of looks at it like, oh, you're just a girl wrestler, and the way you work nowadays is no different than any other girl wrestler, and it bores the shit out of me. Which, if that happens to be the case, that is that man's opinion, and I can't say shit in regards to that man's opinion. I will say that about anybody, even if you disagree with me, even if you have a problem with what I say, if you have a problem with who I am, if you have a problem with my work, if you disagree with me, I can't just hold your feet to the flame and say that, hey, brother, I think your shit sucks, and therefore, and what am I supposed to do? Tell you that you fucking suck too? Like, that's just childish bullshit. Nah. If he's saying that she's not a good worker because he doesn't like her work, that's one thing. If he's saying she's not a good worker because she's the shits, oh no, that's a horrible opinion. I gotta say, that's terrible. He's entitled to it, but there's no defending that position right there. That's just subjective. Well, subjectively, I guess, but about as close to objectively wrong as you could possibly get if his position is, oh, well, Toni Storm is one of the worst workers and I just didn't want to watch it. Being bored, that's one thing. That's your opinion. Saying she is outright the shits, that's a complete and another thing. But that's what he's referencing when he's saying, looking at the context, that's what he's referencing, right? So, like I said, how to dissect that, how to break that down for a second. But in the conclusion, AEW fanboys, let people have their opinions, okay? This is why people hate you guys. This is why you have a stereotype about yourselves. So don't get it twisted. The WWE fanboys, they do it too. But the problem between the WWE fanboys and the AEW fanboys, like I always say, we're comparing apples to oranges, right? We got the WWE fanboys where, yeah, they are on the internet. Yes, they are absolutely on the internet. And they are going off the handle. And these people are unhinged as fuck. I will not take that away. But the problem with that is that it's way more diluted because you have a lot of professional wrestling fans within the WWE fan base. And it's not right to take a sample size of the audience and pretend that has an overarching narrative or an overarching position over the entire fan base when it's literally just a sample size who exist on the internet who are about as internet brain. That's the AEW fanboys. Whereas with the AEW fanboys, unfortunately, because they are a niche group overall, the entire fan base of the AEW fandom is about as big as the sample size within WWE. So that being said, the conclusion can be brought upon, as far as I'm considered, that the AEW fanboys, for the majority of them, they're all terminally online, and therefore that stigmatizes your entire company and it stigmatizes your entire fan base. So like I said, WWE fanboys, complete retards, but they're in smaller numbers, right? In comparison to the entire fan base. There's a big difference between reading comments on Twitter and then going on YouTube and reading through the, comments there. They're cringe as fuck, but you can clearly tell for the most part they're pretty harmless. Versus AEW, no matter where you go, it's going to be just fucking smooth brain, terminally online takes, no matter where you dart your eyes to. And for that, you guys get the Darwinism award. You guys get first place in Darwinism. You guys gotta love you, AEW. You're the best. No, you're not. Stop headbutting sidewalks for a living, you fucking Nimrods. With that being said, though, I gotta get ready to get the fuck up out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Use this video in order to, drive down the road and hopefully do a super erratically and then you skibbity yourselves. Also, if you happen to be an AEW fanboy and you hold these kind of positions against Eric Bischoff for not agreeing with your agreements. That's not my fault. That's not his fault. That's a you problem. With that being said, though, my name is Devontae and I'll be catching you guys later. A deuces and a P eyes.